Am I the a-hole if I don't tell my wife that her best friend tried to kiss me? I have been married to my wife for 2 years, she and her best friend has been friends for more than 15 years. Way before I met my wife or her, and to be honest I never saw or noticed ever that my wife's friend has something for me. Her friend and I have been alone quite often and not once did she try to make a move, it has always been platonic. Her friend, I will call her L, for obvious reasons. L and I have been close, not that close but close enough to consider each other as friends. And I didn't have a problem with it, either did my wife. L visits us almost every week or twice a month give or take. My wife doesn't drink but I do and L does, so whenever she visits us we both drink and spend time together. Sometimes she brings her boyfriends, sometimes she comes alone. But 2 days ago L showed up at our home drunks. She was so drunk she couldn't even walk properly. I still am surprised how she drove herself to our place. I asked her to come inside and she was crying so damn much I thought something bad happened to her. I tried to comfort her but she just hugged me and kept saying that she wished she could find a man like me and all of her boyfriends dumped her and kept talking gibberish. I just stood still and let her vent. But suddenly she started kissing me and I was shocked for a moment but I shook her off of me and asked her what that was about. She said she was sorry and I asked her to stay away. She kept crying and apologizing but I asked her to stay away. After a lot of talking and her venting, I knew I can't let her drive so I dropped her off and when my wife got back she asked me why is L's car here. I told her everything except kissing part. Since then L has been texting me a lot and giving me a lot of explanation and begging me to not to tell my wife, and she will not repeat the same mistake and she genuinely thinks it was a mistake, or so I think. She keeps saying that if I do tell my wife she will lose her best friend. I haven't replied to her yet, and I didn't tell my wife either. But I am kind of scared right now. On one hand I don't want my wife to lose her best if she really has made a genuine drunken mistake. Cause she was really effing drunk, but on the other hand I shouldn't be hiding stuff from my wife, and if it ever comes out my wife will probably stop trusting me. I am kind of stuck here. I know she will be hurt but should I hurt her? It's no affair or sleeping if she was under the influence, and if we can bury it all up and move and me and Elle stay away from each other going forward. Let's see what the commenters have to say. First comment. Your wife should know and make her own choices. She's an adult, and doesn't need you to decide for her. Her friend also needs to stop coming over so much, and get her own life. Next comment. You are not making your wife lose her best friend. You are simply giving your wife the necessary information she needs to make a choice she is entitled to make. Your wife is perfectly capable to weigh all the excuses you are making up for her friend. She was drunk, she apologized, she was lonely herself and can choose to forgive her friend if she wants. She doesn't need you to take that choice away from her. Also, save a copy of all her friends' messages right now so she can't spin it as you instigating the kiss. Another comment. You said you told your wife everything except kissing part. Really? Because if you told your wife that Elle showed up at your home extremely drunk, crying over her dating life, and that she made a pass at you and you rejected her, I think you've actually covered the important stuff. If you mean that you told your wife that Elle came over drunk and you drove her home and that's it, then you really didn't tell her everything except the kissing part. You didn't do anything wrong that night, but Elle betrayed your wife as a friend, and she should know. You have no reason to protect Elle and every reason to side with your wife. Final comment. Not the a-hole, but you have got to tell your wife. Otherwise you won't ever be safe again alone in a room with Lynn. If you let this slide, she will only get bolder. Whether your wife doubts your story or accepts it, everything is better than living the rest of your life in fear of being assaulted again, and then be seen as the wrongdoer. Here's an update from the OP. I decided to tell my wife everything. I thought about it a lot and decided that I should tell her everything instead of hiding it. Too long didn't read. My wife's best friend showed up at my place. She was very drunk. I helped her, but she was so drunk she kissed me, but she couldn't even walk properly, so I dropped her off. I told my wife everything except that her friend kissed me. So after a lot of thinking and finding a way to get past all this, I decided to tell my wife. When I told my wife everything, she was pissed, angry like never before. She asked me why did I hide it from her. Why I didn't tell her? I said I was scared. I hoped that I could hide it all and I didn't want you to lose your lifelong friend over a mistake, but then I realized that if I continue to hide the truth from you I might end up losing you and I don't want to lose you. My wife asked me if I ever cheated on her. I said I never cheated and never will. She started crying and said how can I betray her when she trusted me so much. I hugged her and said I never betrayed her and will never betray her. I am coming clean cause I don't want to lose you. I was as shocked as you are right now when she kissed me. My wife, after she stopped crying, said that I am not allowed to talk to any of her friends and I am to stay away from other women except our family members. My wife also asked me to block Elle. When I asked her what she will do, she said it's between her and Elle and I don't have to worry about it. She demanded open phone policy and complete transparency from me. I agreed. She said if I ever tried to hide anything from her, no matter what it is, she will leave me. I agreed cause I don't ever want to hide anything from her. I don't know what happened and what both of them talked about, and my wife wouldn't tell me either. All she says is none of my business. She's still super pissed at me and I try my best to make her happy and ended up doing embarrassing private stuff for her which I never was and still uncomfortable to do so, but at least my wife is happy. I do not know what else I could have done, but I tried my best and gave it all. I came clean, told her everything, did everything she asked from me and tried my best to please her. She's still angry, but at least she is with me and isn't leaving me unless I make another stupid-ass mistake. That's the end of this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see what the commenters have to say. First comment. You're scared to tell her things. She tells you what you're allowed to do. Embarrassing private stuff. Whatever that means. You haven't done anything wrong except failing to set the appropriate tone for your relationship. Next comment. Open phone policy, fine. It shows you are willing to be transparent after you hid this for days. Prohibiting you to talk to her friends because her friend kissed you. She is punishing you for something her friend did. Don't let head gaslight you into accepting the blame about something you never did. Another comment. I hate to say this, but your wife is most likely cheating on you. Every part of her reaction is indicative of cheating. I mean, it reads like a psych textbook. If I were you, I would bring up the open phone policy, an insane overreaction to someone else kissing you. Tell her that in the interest of both of you being honest and open with each other, you should both be subject to it. If she says anything other than, yes, that's fair, then she is 100% messing with someone else. Final comment. Open phone policy, fine. It shows you are willing to be transparent after you hid this for days. Prohibiting you to talk to her friends because her friend kissed you. She is punishing you for something her friend did. Don't let head gaslight you into accepting the blame about something you never did. Thank you for listening and watching. Please let me know what you think about this in the comments. I would love to read about what you have to say. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel. Have a nice day.